out here. We're going to pull this dam apart. A couple of things to pulling a dam. First thing about pulling the dam is not about taking the dam apart. It's about looking what's downstream from the dam. So a lot of people think, oh, I'll blow that beaver dam. Well, they never think about the county road downstream from it. And then all this water comes rushing down all at one time, and it takes out the road. So if you're going to take out a beaver dam, start in the corners. Just take out the far corner like I did yesterday, and then make breaks in here to help regulate the water slowly so it doesn't come out all at once. That way, when you come back, your water levels are, if the beaver haven't plugged it up, then the water levels will drop, make it a lot easier to tear out the middle because you're not holding back so much water. So, what I'm going to do today is, you can see that beaver dam is constructed with all the sticks laying one direction. Well, that whole mass of sticks is holding up all the vegetation that's running along the dam to seal it up. So, if I'm going to take this out, I need to go through and cut the centers of all them sticks and leave a gap between them, so when the top starts to come, the top will just fold down into the other sticks and the whole top will roll itself open clean. And you can do it in pieces. That way you're not trying to do it all at once. If you do it all at once, which is impossible unless you're using a machine, but this is an easy way of getting rid of beaver dams on your property. So I'm going to start the saw and get down there and start cutting. Done cutting all the branches off from behind the beaver dam. Now I'm about ready to pull it. One thing you should always remember about pulling the beaver dam is don't stand on the side that you're working across. What I mean is, don't start pulling the beaver dam from over there if you have to go over there. So start on the far end and work back to where you're going to leave. That way you're not trying to cross all that raging water when it comes time to go. Well, tool number one, a good hoe. Now everybody likes a good hoe, but this hoe is really cool because it helps you pull the beaver dam apart easy. So instead of getting all physical with the sticks, just cut them all in small pieces so when the vegetation rolls over, it sweeps them all away, and then you don't have a bunch of big sticks plugging up something else downstream. So we start on this side. Just start pulling the top layer off. Well, we just ripped a hole in the dam over there, and we're letting all the water out. So now when the beavers come by, a lot of people think, set by that cut right there because that's where the beavers are going to be most active. Yep, it is. But if you want to catch the beaver that are going to fix the dam, and the biggest ones that are the culprits for tearing and flooding the place, catch them on the edges of the dam at the corners. Because beavers will always swim the edge of the dam looking for the breaks. They already know that one's there, but now They're going to swim along here looking for these little spots to plug up to help them. And this is where you can catch them. All you got to do is kind of make a little indention, have the water flow through it, put a little scent caster mound at the back or some building material. Popple works great, especially in the spring when they're just feeding on fresh stuff. Well, when you set that loop up, just make it so the beavers turn right into it. And an easy way of getting the beavers to turn into your set is to put a stick right here where I'm standing. I'll show you that. All you got to do is think right and left, stick right in the middle. The beaver's not going to try to step over that stick, so he's going to go either the right side into the snare or the left side into the snare. So just use that as a diversion so he doesn't come straight in. If he comes straight in, he may be holding debris in his mouth, a stick or two, but when you set it up with that center that splits the trail in the water, you got him focused right into the top. It's an easy way of getting them in. So we're going to use some more Dan Strand's Magic Beaver Lure here, and we're just going to take and put a little dab right on the back side of that mud pie right there. Boy, that stuff smells good. It's an amazing lure. Works tremendously well on the beaver, especially when they're used to smelling normal caster-based lures. Old Dan sure made a good product here. So anyway, let's move on to the next set. Okay. All right, well, we came over to this spot here, and they had this all level with water all the way up to the road, and the beavers were just in here causing all kinds of havoc for them. So we came in and we made some snare sets. We got a snare set over here that's out of the water now, that was in the water. You can see how far the dam has dropped since I pulled it out yesterday. Well, now you can see how the snare would sit in the set if you were going to catch it. Now, I don't have to take this set out because that natural little spot right there that's funneling between that green grass and that darker grass. Let me show you out here. So, guys that are just starting out, they'll understand what's going on with the fencing. See, it doesn't take very much. This little patch of grass right here and this yellowish grass can move that beaver right through that snare. And being the snare's out of the water and it's in the path, that beaver is going to still come up here. So even if the water levels drop with snares, you can still catch the beaver. So if you go over here, and this, yesterday we had this snare right in this here location, and you can see the mud pie right here. That beaver came up, and my snare was set right in this spot between that twig and this bank. Now that beaver came all the way up here and walked all the way up to this dry ground and went right through that snare to get to this pile. So if I would have had a trap here, that trap would have been out of the water, and chances are that beaver would have saw it and he would have shied away. But being I used a snare and the beaver couldn't hardly see it with the grass that was here before the beaver came in and destroyed the set, he didn't care. He just came walking right up through the set, and there he is. So when you're using snares for catching beavers, you don't have to be real worried about the water levels, because all you have to be aware of is your fencing and the path that comes up from the water to your set. So give it a shot, and I'm sure you'll have a good time with the results. This beaver here came in last night and he knocked the set down. Now I want to show you something interesting about my snares compared to other guys' snares. You see that little aluminum ferrule on there? I developed this a long time ago because this makes hanging the snares absolutely fantastically easy. You don't have to worry about wrapping wire around. And when you do catch something, the ferrule pulls off the support wire by the stop. So then you're instantly into the swivel, which is great, because if you get an animal that likes to spin, twist, and roll, that swivel is going to take all that out of your cable. And that means your cable's going to be as new as it was the day you set. It won't get frayed up, and you won't have to worry about losing what you caught. Now I'm going to reset this set because the water level in here dropped. And I'm going to show you how easy this is to put on. You just slide it right on a number 9 wire, extend your wire out, then you take this part and you spin it around your wire. Once you get that spun around your wire, you can put a stick through there to hold it, or you can just wrap it around your wire ahead of time. But if I do that, then I know my cable's not going to be all twisted up. So, and this is the cool part about this system, is when you use this kind of system, you don't have to worry about kinks in your cable. So you can always make your cable hang the right way. You either twist it right or twist it left. Take the flex out of it so it hangs nice and straight. See how that's straightened right out like that? Once you get that straightened out, then you can just adjust your wire. I hang on to the top of the snare cable, so when I'm bending the wire, I can adjust it from the belly. That way I'm always got the height right. And you see how nice that sits? Now, you know a beaver's gonna come in, so you know the beaver's gonna come, but if you have this too high, he'll hit the head with his head and he'll lift the snare. So you always want to make sure that you drop this below. So when he comes in, his chin's already through the snare. That way it's deep enough and you know he's going to hit it right. So we set that up like that. Keep your loop, get that twist out of there. So that way the snare's set in the right direction. When you're running snares, it's real important with the details. Now that's absolutely perfect. That beaver will come in, I'll catch him, and all I got to do is kind of put some sticks around the wire there. Not much, just enough to spot. Not enough to make them get wise and start thinking about things as being suspicious. Some beavers can be very smart and very hard to catch. So if you're using normal techniques, all you're going to be doing is educating that beaver. See, now most guys would shove a stick in the ground like that. Don't do that, because that's not normal. A stick laying like that will turn that beaver just as easily as a stick sticking straight up. And if you don't stick it straight up, then you're not going to have to worry about people that are walking on the road, seeing something out of place, and then all of a sudden their curiosity takes over, and all of a sudden you got problems with people taking your stuff, hassling your animals that are in your traps, or who the hell knows what's going to happen to you. Anything's possible.